Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to Guiding Voice podcast series. The Guiding Voice for a better future. This podcast is to help students and young professionals to shape their careers. In every episode, we interact with industry experts and drive some insightful conversations which will help the students and young professionals learn some great things. Thank you for tuning in. This is Naveen and I'm with my co-host Sudhakar. Dear listeners, today we are going to discuss a very emerging topic which has become very popular recently. It is about a role called Chief of Staff. So we are pleased to welcome Kiran to our show today to talk about this emerging role in the IT industry or the corporate world.
Kiran Gudimetla is currently in the role of Chief of Staff for Global IT CIO in Cognizant. Kiran has over 17 years of rich technology leadership experience delivering data and digital transformation programs. He has broad industry domain knowledge leading programs across order to remittance and post-sale service business functions. Kiran is also a subject matter expert on GDPR and led the GDPR compliance program for his organization by implementing IT solutions. Kiran is a proud alumni of GE's famous ITLP program. Kiran, welcome to our show. Let us get into our conversation.
Hey, thank you, Naveen and Sudhakar. Thanks for having me here. I'm really excited to share my experiences. Also, let me congratulate you guys for creating such an impactful platform and being the guiding voice. Very happy to be here.
Thank you, Kiran.
Thank you, Kiran. I appreciate your support.
Kiran, before getting into why you picked this role, let us start with what this role of Chief of Staff is all about.
Sure. It is a very strategic role with end-to-end exposure of complete business processes and which cuts across various departments of a company. This is a very specific role which works mostly for the success of the executive, be it a CXO, CDO, CTO, CEO. And trust is a single most important factor as there could be a lot of exposure into all the topics that the CXO looks into. It gives the CXO confidence that, hey, there is someone who has got my back. And it also helps the Chief of Staff to take care of the day-to-day operational activities which are needed to run the organization, as well as be the strategic advisor for the CXO or the executive.
Great. Then what made you to pick into this role?
Yeah. So I've always looked up for challenging roles and I've given my best till date in my 17 years of experience. And this probably helped me land in this role. I was offered this Chief of Staff by my CIO and he was looking for somebody with an experience managing large enterprise grade programs who had more breadth across business functions and willing to learn. So I was very happy and eager to take up this opportunity. So that's how I got started.
That's really amazing, Kiran. So who can play this role? Can I get into this role?
That's a great question. So this role needs a person who has a lot of current business context in the mind. That is very, very important, right? And also somebody who excels at connecting the dots between the multiple business departments or functions, which may otherwise seem very unrelated. And also, reputation for resourcefulness and getting things done is a very important attribute in this role. You have to really get things done. It is a very challenging role. And usually departments, when they are working on their priorities, sometimes they tend to get into silos, which could be a problem for the senior executive. So that is where COS comes into picture. And with somebody who has an ability to look around the corners and remembers the history, that is a very, very important attribute to have. And this is a both strategic as an operation focused role. We have to be cognizant of this fact. And the CXOs are shaping this role based on their needs. It is not really always a strategic or always an operations point of role.
Excellent. So in nutshell, I cannot get into this role.
You might aspire to get into this role, which is all about, being part of the guiding voice, right?
But seems to be a challenging role, mate.
So, Kiran, why do you think this role has become very popular of late?
See, a very common issue for a CEO or a CIO that has been observed is not being able to concentrate on a strategic, forward-looking things for the organization and get bogged down by the day-to-day management of the organization. Most of the times, these people are spending a lot of their time and energy trying to manage how an organization moves forward. Rather than that, they really need to concentrate on, okay, how do I take my next step? What should my strategy be? And there are multiple CXO roles that have emerged in the industry today, as we see. There is a chief product officer, there is a chief marketing officer, chief technology officer, chief information officer, chief data officer, so many CXO roles, right? They all need to have a lot of administrative day-to-day things to be taken care, as well as a lot of strategy to do. And this is where the chief of staff role has come into picture, which is of great help to all these CXOs. A confidant is needed who really aligns to the executive and helps him or her see things which otherwise may seem not very visible to everybody. So this has made the chief of staff role very important in the industry today.
Yep. So this seems to be very exciting. And do you think it is a long-term career option?
This role is still very new and emerging, Naveen. But as of now, as we see, this is not a very long-term career option. So when I say that, somebody like me who spent 15 straight years in one single company, that I call it is long-term. So this is mostly a 2 to 4 year horizon of a role. People tend to spend about 2 to 4 years and then move on to other career options. And sometimes people kind of like this role and they might want to do the same chief of staff, but at a separate organization, at a separate level in the company.
Interesting.
So, Kiran, once you spend like couple of years in that chief of staff role, and if you do not want to continue the same role in other organization, what are the other options, career options that one can look for at that juncture?
Yeah, since this chief of staff role gives a very broad exposure to all the business functions and it is not specific to a single department, this really positions a person very well to be in a chief operating officer kind of a role. So one can start to aspire to look at starting C-suite roles. COO is a great option because chief of staff is involved a lot into the day-to-day operations of an organization. So that's a great start. Because chief of staff has also seen so much of breadth of the organization, they might even think about it or creating their own startup. Yeah, that's another very interesting option that can come up. And the biggest attributes that anybody can carry from this role are being very strategic and operational focused, both of which are very, very, very sought out in today's market. Not everybody has the combination of these both. So I'm sure somebody who rotates out of this will land into a very meaty role.
That's quite interesting and amazing as well. And very excited about the role and congratulations on being part of that.
Thanks.
So, Kiran, slightly shifting gears and talking about you being a successful leader in the industry. So, what's your advice to the current generation on their career planning? How can they make it big?
That's a great question, Naveen. See, one very important thing that has served me very well throughout my career and in any role that I played is my interest to pick up the business process. Technology is given, right? Like you can be a great developer, a great coder, a great architect kind of a person, but unless you pick up the business process, you are not really solving the business problem. So always look for understanding the business process. What is the end user perspective? Why am I building something? When I'm writing a piece of code, how does it go and impact the end user? That is going to be a key game changer for you. And the kind of perspectives that it will bring is amazing. So one should always look to learn the business process and not just be a siloed techie. And we hear a lot today about user experience and design experience. These cannot be done in silos, right? Like unless you know what is the business process that you're working towards, how does this impact the ultimate end user, you cannot enrich their user experience. So that is my take.
That's wonderful. And when it comes to seeing through the customer's eyes, in fact, we have done a recent episode with a CTO on looking at problems through customer's eyes. So definitely request all the listeners to go through that episode in case if you haven't gone through. And thank you for sharing that insight, Kiran. Now, can we talk a little personal?
Absolutely.
You have a huge following on Insta for your culinary skills. So can you share with our listeners and audience how it all started?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for noticing that, by the way. I've always been a good cook. I've learned cooking from my mother very early on, and started cooking the traditional Andhra vegetarian cuisines right from my college days. So, and once we moved to Bangalore, the need was a little more. So I started helping my wife, who's also the corporate world. And Instagram was always there. Like I was on Insta from 2012 onwards, but then I think because of COVID, like everybody, the Insta bug hit me a lot more. So started baking a lot, started cooking a lot. And one of the very important factor, I would say a driving factor, was both my daughter's birthdays fell this year within that lockdown period. They really did not want to disappoint them. So I went ahead, baked the cake myself, and they turned out to be awesome. And that's what probably contributed to the good Insta following as well.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing those insights. Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially in this kind of a COVID situation when you are like bound to your four walls. I think these are the things that you can look up to for inspiration, for stress busting, and still try to enjoy within the four walls.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kiran. It was indeed a great discussion on this very important role, which is becoming more a norm than exception in the current corporate world, about being the chief of staff. Really appreciate you taking time.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me over as well. Thank you guys, and all the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Kiran. Appreciate you spending time with us despite other commitments.
Dear listeners, to know more about our speaker and the content, visit or follow us on social media. We are available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, Pinterest, and also on YouTube. Just search for The Guiding Voice. And follow, like, subscribe to us and share within your network. Also feel free to email us at The Guiding Voice for You, that is THEGUIDINGVOICE 4-digit U @gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on India number 9494587187. Again, India number 9494587187, and we will be happy to collaborate with you.
All right. So it brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. And today's trivia is about saving the toner ink in our printers. Changing fonts can save printer ink. Yes, you heard it right, guys. Fonts are not created equal, and everybody has their own preferential font, or which will be used by them by default. And these fonts are created for different kinds of reasons, to convey a message, or for decoration, embellishment, or even as an iconography. And the theory is that if you use a lighter font with a lighter stroke, you will use slightly less ink per page, and based on the assumption that you are only printing with inkjet printers that use the old style cartridges, and you are most likely to save about 10% of the ink by switching to one of the lighter fonts. But as a home consumer, we will never print enough volumes to actually see a benefit. So anyways, good luck changing your font and getting the prints. So this is about today's trivia. Interesting, isn't it? Alright, so thank you for listening. There is more in store. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful time. Take care, folks. Be safe. And until next time, bye-bye.